You're not busy. You're just distracted. You're not out of time. You're just wasting it. And if I told you you had only 6 months left to live, would your priorities still be the same? No more excuses. Let's talk about what actually matters. A question that could change your life. Have you ever felt like life is rushing by, but you're not actually living it? No time for your family. No time for your health. No time to just breathe. Honestly, I've been there too. It's in those exact moments when life feels off balance that we need to hit pause and ask ourselves what truly matters. I remember one evening, I got home after a long day of back-to-back calls and endless emails. My phone was buzzing, my head was spinning, and my little niece ran up to me holding her drawing. She said, "Look, I made this for you." And I barely looked. I smiled, nodded, and said, "Later, okay?" That moment haunted me because later never came. It made me realize we don't lose our lives all at once. We lose them in small, unnoticed moments, traded for things that won't matter a year from now. That was the night I asked myself, is this the life I want to keep living? The 6-month test. Try this. Imagine you only had 6 months left. Would you spend more time in meetings? More hours in front of a screen? Probably not. I'd bet you'd choose to laugh more with the people you love, to slow down, to feel connected, to make memories that last. So if that's what you do when time runs out, why not start today while time is still on your side? I actually did this exercise once. I wrote down what I'd do if I had just 6 months to live. And guess what? Not a single item said work harder or check more emails. Instead, it was things like watch the sunset with my mom, go on a spontaneous trip with my best friend, write a letter to the people I love, telling them what they mean to me. It hit me so hard because I realized I wasn't doing any of those things. We keep telling ourselves, someday. But life isn't made of some days. It's made of right nows, and we get to choose how we spend them. We work to live, not live to work. Here's something that hit me hard recently. Work should never be the center of our lives. It's a tool, not our identity. It gives us the means to enjoy real moments. Sunsets, shared meals, deep talks with people who matter. We weren't born just to meet deadlines. We were born to live fully. There was a time when my calendar ruled my life. I used to feel accomplished when every slot was filled. Meetings, calls, back-to-back deadlines. But at the end of the week, I couldn't remember a single moment that mattered. I missed birthdays. I skipped dinners. I postponed joy again and again. Until one day someone close to me said, "I feel like you're always somewhere else, even when you're here." That hit different. It made me rethink everything. Work gives us the money to live, yes, but it should never cost us the life we're working for. What would you do if you had everything? Now imagine this. You're financially set for life. Your health is amazing, and you've got 10 good years ahead, but you still have to do something with your time. If money wasn't an issue, what would you spend your days doing? That question? It's a window into your purpose, into the version of you that's been waiting to be unleashed. I remember doing this thought experiment for the first time. I closed my eyes and really tried to picture it. No more bills to worry about, no pressure to impress anyone, just time and freedom. And you know what surprised me? I didn't imagine yachts or fancy vacations. I imagined waking up early, helping others grow, creating something meaningful, and spending my evenings with people who truly know me. That exercise made me realize my dream life wasn't that far off. I just kept pushing it aside for someday. But what if someday is now? The hidden power of doing less. Most of us wear busy like a badge of honor. But here's what I've learned the hard way. Busy doesn't mean productive. There are usually just 3 things we do that drive 90% of our results. So the goal isn't to do more. It's to do less, but better. To know your top 3 and give them your full energy. That shift, it's life-changing. For the longest time, I equated busy with important. If my schedule was packed, I thought I was winning. But the truth is, I was spinning my wheels, constantly reacting, constantly overwhelmed. One day, a mentor asked me, "What are the 3 things you do that actually move your life forward?" I couldn't answer. That was my wake-up call. I started tracking how I spent my days and realized I was wasting hours on things that felt urgent, but added 0 real value. So I made a change. I chose my 3, and I gave them my best. It didn't just change how I work, it changed how I live. Simplicity is a superpower. Simplifying changed everything for me. Once I stopped trying to juggle 20 things at once, and instead went all in on the most important few, I found more peace, and strangely, more success. We don't need to be superheroes. We just need to do what matters and let the rest fall away. I used to think the more I did, the more I'd achieve, that success meant saying yes to everything. But all it gave me was exhaustion and a never-ending to-do list. It wasn't until I started saying no to the noise that I finally heard what my life had been trying to tell me. I don't need to do it all. I just need to do what matters most and give it my full heart. Letting go of the rest, that was hard, but it was also the most liberating thing I've ever done. The 4 things that help you take control if you want to reclaim your time. Here are the 4 traits that help me most. 1. Desire. You have to want a better life. 2. Decision. You have to commit, not just try. 3. Discipline. You stick to your priorities, even when it's hard. 4. Determination. You keep going, especially when it's not easy. These aren't just words, they're muscles. The more you use them, the stronger you get. I used to wait for the perfect moment, the ideal schedule, the right energy, the clear mind. But that moment never came. And deep down, I knew why. I wanted change, but I hadn't really decided. Once I made a true commitment, not just I'll try, but I will, things started shifting. It was messy. I stumbled a lot. But I kept showing up. And with each small win, I started building a kind of inner strength I didn't know I had. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. And let these 4 become part of who you are. Results over effort. Here's something uncomfortable but true. No one pays you for how hard you try, only for what you deliver. Effort is noble, but results are what move the needle in your job, your business, and your life. So I stopped measuring how busy I was and started measuring what I was actually creating. I used to wear busy like a badge of honor. Long days, short nights, always running. I thought people would notice, that the world would somehow reward my effort. But it didn't, because trying hard feels good, but only results create impact. The moment I realized I was working so hard, but moving in circles, it hurt, but it also set me free. Free to ask better questions, like, what am I actually building? Is this task moving me forward or just keeping me busy? From that day on, I stopped trying to impress people with effort and started holding myself accountable to outcomes. Your environment shapes you. This one surprised me. A cluttered space leads to a cluttered mind. When I started keeping my workspace clean and intentional, I felt sharper, more in control, more creative. The space around you reflects how you value your time and how others perceive your focus. It's not just about being neat, it's about being ready. I used to work with papers everywhere. Sticky notes on my laptop, half-drunk coffee mugs, books I never finished. I told myself it's organized chaos, but deep down I knew it was just chaos. One weekend I cleared everything, just the essentials. A clean desk, a notepad, 1 pen, and a plant. Monday came, and something felt different. My thoughts were clearer. I felt more present, and strangely, I respected my own time more. That's when it hit me. Our environment doesn't just affect how we work. It shapes how we show up. Why focus wins every time. In a world screaming for your attention, focus is your quiet superpower. It's not easy. It takes practice. But when you're clear on what you want and you block out the noise, that's when real momentum happens. The most successful people I've met weren't always the smartest, but they were always laser focused. I used to think I was great at multitasking. 10 tabs open, phone buzzing, music playing. I thought I was in the zone. But looking back, I was just scattered. I'd start 5 things and finish none. And the worst part? I'd feel mentally exhausted but emotionally unfulfilled. Focus didn't come naturally to me. I had to retrain my brain to slow down, choose one thing, and stay with it until it's done. It felt strange at first, even boring. But then, it started to work. Real results, real clarity, and for the first time in a long while, I felt like I was moving forward, not just spinning. The secret is finishing what you start. Want to know where confidence comes from? Not from talent, not from books, but from this, finishing what matters. Every time you complete a task that pushes you forward, you build momentum, belief, and energy. Start small, finish it, and then do it again. Before you know it, you're becoming unstoppable. There was a time I had a list of to-dos that never ended. I'd keep adding things, crossing off the easy ones, and ignoring the ones that really mattered. At the end of the day, I looked busy on paper, but I felt stuck. Then one day I told myself, pick one important thing, just one, and finish it today. I did. It wasn't perfect, but it was done. And I swear something shifted in me that day. It's like my brain whispered, hey, you can trust me now. That tiny win lit a spark. And from there, momentum just started building. Know your worth. Protect your time. Here's a mindset shift that changed how I work. If your time is worth $50 an hour, stop doing $10 tasks. Outsource what doesn't move the needle. Free yourself to do what only you can do. This is how leaders think. This is how you step out of the grind and into growth. For a long time, I was doing everything. Editing my own videos, designing my own thumbnails, replying to every tiny email. And I told myself it was hustle, but the truth? It was fear. I was afraid to let go, afraid no one else would do it right. Until one day I looked at my schedule and realized I was drowning in $10 tasks while ignoring the $1,000 ideas in my head. That's when I made the shift. I stopped trying to be everywhere and started being exactly where I mattered most. Live by the Big 3 rule. Every week I come back to this. What are the 3 things that matter most right now? When I live by that rule, everything becomes simpler, less overwhelm, better results, more freedom. Most people chase too many things, but clarity is power. Find your big 3, protect them, and go all in. I used to start my weeks with a to-do list that looked like a grocery receipt, pages long, full of noise. By Friday, I'd feel drained, and strangely, like I hadn't done anything meaningful. Then I discovered the big 3. Now every Sunday night I sit down and ask, what are the 3 things that if done well, would make this week a win? No matter what else happens, just 3. And honestly, it changed everything. I no longer chase everything. I commit to what actually counts. And that clarity, it's like breathing clean air again. Mornings that set the tone. Here's my morning habit. Before anything else, I write down what I need to do today. Then I highlight one task that will make the biggest impact. I call it my game changer. That's where I start. No distractions, no multitasking, just pure focused action. And that one action often shifts the whole day. I used to start my mornings by scrolling social media, news, messages. Before I even got out of bed, my mind was already cluttered, reacting to a world I hadn't chosen. But then I made one small change. Now I wake up, take a deep breath, and open a blank page. I ask myself, what one thing, if I did it today, would make everything else easier or unnecessary? I circle it. I commit. And even if the rest of the day goes sideways, if I do that one thing, it still feels like a win. It's not about doing more. It's about starting with purpose. Character equals what you do when motivation fades. It's easy to be inspired at the start, but what happens after the motivation fades? That's where character steps in. To me, character means doing what you promised yourself, long after the hype is gone. Discipline isn't punishment, it's power, and it's the bridge between who you are now and who you're meant to become. I've had mornings where I didn't want to get out of bed, days when everything felt heavy, where the voice in my head said, "It doesn't matter today, just skip it." And honestly, sometimes I listened. But over time, I started to see something. The days I followed through despite the feeling, those were the days that built me. Not because I was perfect, but because I kept a promise to myself. Motivation comes and goes, but character is who stays behind when the noise fades. And every time you show up, tired, scared, unmotivated, but still choose to act with integrity, you become a little more of the person you're meant to be. I'm not perfect. I still get distracted. I still forget what really matters sometimes. But videos like this, they help me come back to myself. If this message made you pause, made you think a little deeper, maybe it's time to make some changes. No pressure. Just start small. Start now. And hey, if this spoke to you, maybe it'll speak to someone you care about too. Share it with them. Let's remind each other what really matters.